China, two nations who were quick to immediately express support to the Taliban regime that had forcefully taken over the government in Afghanistan. External Affairs Minister S. Shankar already has met his counterparts from China, Iran, Armenia, Uzbekistan in Dushanbe. But ahead of the meeting, China has already said it is ready to have a close communication with member states, but will also continue to work on Afghanistan to build an open and inclusive political structure. But that, remember, in a country now controlled by Taliban. So we are shortly going to bring you the visuals of Prime Minister's address at the 21st Shanghai Cooperation Organisation Summit. This is very important because remember there are different states, but India for the fourth summit which will be participating as a full-fledged member state. That of course definitely makes it an important member state for the summit as well. But there have been too many geopolitical developments that have taken place. One of the most significant remains the development in Afghanistan with the Taliban takeover. Importantly, how do other nations react to the new government there in Afghanistan, which has been now held by Taliban? Remember, only China and Pakistan have officially come forth to even accept and agree that they recognize the Taliban government. Other nations have refused to do so, especially India for now, waiting and watching the developments that are taking place. So just to reiterate for you what precisely will be on agenda, it will be the COVID pandemic, as has been agenda on all previous summits that the Prime Minister has participated on, whether it's the COVID pandemic, how it was managed, what can be done even now with the third wave coming, the vaccination drive in India and other countries, but also multilateral economic cooperation that will be required and other issues that will be on priority as well. So I'm leaving you with these visuals for now. I'm heading to a very short break, but when we return, we're going to stay with the coverage of the SCO summit that's all set to begin. And what will the Prime Minister say when he addresses the meeting?
You are watching India Today.
There's something special about Bollywood that brings a different kind of magic to the big screen. And trust me, we're not the only ones that feel this way. Bollywood manages to spread its charm across the world. Not just to people like you and me, but to Hollywood celebrities too. Yes, they've expressed their love for Bollywood and we couldn't be prouder. Today we're going to talk about some Hollywood actors who seem to be very obsessed with Bollywood actors and wish to work with them. Kristen Stewart has been very vocal about her love for Bollywood in general and Hrithik Roshan in particular. During an interview, she mentioned how she would love to be a part of a Bollywood project, and if she ever has kids, she would want them to look like Hrithik. Tom Cruise has reportedly said that he's a fan of Sonam Kapoor and would love to work in a Hindi movie. This is no surprise since Sonam Kapoor is often seen as the most fashionable Bollywood actress. They even met in Mumbai in the year 2009 when he visited India for a movie screening. Kim's no stranger to Bollywood either, and she absolutely loves Salman Khan. She also expressed her desire to work with Salman and was even approached for Big Boss. Priyanka Chopra has taken the world by storm since she won Miss India and Miss World in 2000. She's been into acting since then. She's gotten all the love from the international audience since she started working for American television. You won't believe what we're going to tell you next. Gerard Butler once went down on his knees to propose to Priyanka for marriage. He was that fond of her. Well, who isn't a Potterhead? And who doesn't like SRK? What an adorable combination. Daniel Radcliffe is a big fan of SRK and draws inspiration from Bollywood's Badshah on style, on classiness and on personality. Robert Pattinson revealed that he's a huge fan of Dilwale Dulhania Le Jayenge and absolutely loves Shah Rukh Khan. Pattinson also mentioned how he would love to work in a Bollywood movie where he could dance and sing at the same time. Jackie Chan has expressed his love for Bollywood numerous times and has also worked with Mallika Sherawat. Guess what? He even mentioned that he loves Bollywood so much that he would work on a discount if required to be a part of a Bollywood project. Well, Bollywood is certainly one of the best things ever, and we believe that in the near future, Bollywood and Hollywood will barely have any difference.
You are watching India Today. You are watching India Today. You are watching India Today. You are watching India. You are watching India Today.
Welcome back. In just a short while, we'll be cutting across to Prime Minister Modi addressing the 21st Shanghai Cooperation Organisation Summit that is expected to begin in just a short while. It will be the 4th summit in which India is participating as a full-fledged member state. But it definitely assumes a lot of significance this time, because this will be in the backdrop of Taliban takeover in Afghanistan. How do Pakistan and China react to it? Because while India has not recognized the Taliban government yet, Pakistan and China were the first, quick, immediate to accept and agree to the Taliban government and recognizing it in Afghanistan. Now, the virtual summit that is just scheduled to begin will focus on the COVID pandemic for one, but also on a multilateral economic cooperation and a host of other issues as well. The meeting will, of course, be attended by Pakistan and China, and therefore, with the whole Afghanistan development, this meeting assumes significance. What has already happened with regard to the summit? External Affairs Minister S. Shankar has met his counterparts from China, Iran, Armenia, Uzbekistan. That has happened in Dushanbe. But ahead of the meeting, China has already given out a statement that it is ready to have close communication with member states and continue to work on Afghanistan to build an open and inclusive political structure. But now remember that in a war-torn country controlled by Taliban. So, of course, what remains to be seen, will Taliban and Afghanistan find a direct mention by Prime Minister Narendra Modi? Will there be the border discussion with China? Will some of these issues find a mention in the SCO summit? But also remember, there is going to be the security aspect that may also be discussed with regard to India, Pakistan, China and the borders that we share with our neighboring countries. For now, External Affairs Minister S. Shankar has met China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi. That happened on the sidelines of the SCO summit. And as we await that address by the Prime Minister, I want to wrap up this bulletin, but I'll be right back after a short break. You can always catch all the developments on indiatoday.in or on our application as well. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned.
You are watching India Today.
Taliban has extended invitations to their 6 international partners to attend the inauguration ceremony even before announcing their government. According to reports, the Taliban have invited Russia, China, Turkey, Iran, Pakistan and Qatar to attend their inaugural ceremony. This seems to be paving the way for first steps into foreign policy formulation for a nation that is yet again brought to a nascent stage. Pakistan. Well, Pakistan has been the sole supporter of Taliban-led Afghanistan when the West waged war on the Taliban at least 20 years ago. The symbiotic relationship would always ensure a cushy position for the Pakistan military within the Taliban leadership. Speaking of China, in public, China has crowed over the exit of US forces from Afghanistan. Beijing sees an opportunity in expanding its Belt and Road Initiative, of which Afghanistan is a key link to. It may also have to face the fact that it has now to face the United States, which is now free to focus on their main rival, China. Russia. Well, Russia is another country that has engaged the Taliban for a while now. In November 2018, Russia hosted a high-level delegation from the Taliban, as well as a delegation of Afghanistan's High Peace Council, along with 12 countries. The 2018 meeting was co-chaired by both Russia as well as Afghanistan. The meeting's main objective was to facilitate the national reconciliation process. Russia's stakes are high though, but today, Moscow, like Beijing, is most focused on the United States exit, saying foreign occupation of any country should end. Iran. Iran has welcomed the departure of United States forces and pledged to work with Taliban administration. New Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi has said America's military defeat must become an opportunity to restore life, security, and durable peace in Afghanistan. Turkey. Well, Turkey sees an opportunity here in the vacuum created by the United States as well as the NATO, although it was also involved in the NATO operations of 2001. Turkey is likely to provide logistical support to resume operations at the Kabul airport, with the Taliban maintaining the airport security. They are also looking to gain via trade and allow Turkish goods to flood the Afghan market. Qatar. While Qatar did not recognize the Taliban regime of 1996 to 2001, they did maintain cordial relationship with the militant group. Today, Qatar is providing technical support at the Hamid Karzai International Airport.
You are watching India Today. You are watching India Today.
So sorry. तालिबान का नया कैबिनेट पेश खिदमत है, बावाज़ बुलंद पढ़ा जाएगा। जुम्बिश मकुन होशियार, आप सबको उड़ाने नागरिक उड्डयन और हाईजैक मंत्री तशरीफ ला रहे हैं। वल्लाह जिहाद प्रचार और प्रसार मंत्री आपके हुजूर बधाई।
रहमान को SCO काउंसिल की सफल अध्यक्षता के लिए बधाई देता हूं। ताजिक प्रेसिडेंसी ने चुनौतीपूर्ण वैश्विक और क्षेत्रीय माहौल में इस संगठन का कुशलता से संचालन किया है। ताजिकिस्तान की आजादी की 30वीं वर्षगांठ के इस वर्ष में मैं पूरे भारत की ओर से सभी ताजिक भाई बहनों को और राष्ट्रपति रहमान को बहुत बहुत बधाई और शुभकामनाएं देता हूं। एक्सेलेंसीज, इस साल हम SCO की भी 20वीं वर्षगांठ मना रहे हैं। यह खुशी की बात है कि इस शुभ अवसर पर हमारे साथ नए मित्र जुड़ रहे हैं। मैं ईरान का SCO के नए सदस्य देश के रूप में स्वागत करता हूं। मैं तीनों नए डायलॉग पार्टनर्स सऊदी अरब, इजिप्ट और कतर का भी स्वागत करता हूं। SCO का एक्सपेंशन हमारी संस्था का बढ़ता प्रभाव दिखाता है। नए मेंबर और डायलॉग पार्टनर से एससीओ भी और मजबूत और क्रेडिबल बनेगा। एक्सेलेंसी, एससीओ की 20वीं वर्षगांठ इस संस्था के भविष्य के बारे में सोचने के लिए भी उपयुक्त अवसर है। मेरा मानना है कि इस क्षेत्र में सबसे बड़ी चुनौतियां शांति, सुरक्षा और ट्रस्ट डेफिसिट से संबंधित है और इन समस्याओं का मूल कारण बढ़ता हुआ रेडिकलाइजेशन है। अफगानिस्तान में हाल के घटनाक्रम ने इस चुनौती को और स्पष्ट कर दिया है। इस मुद्दे पर एससीओ को पहल लेकर कार्य करना चाहिए। यदि हम इतिहास पर नजर डालें तो पाएंगे कि मध्य एशिया का क्षेत्र मॉडरेट और प्रोग्रेसिव कल्चर और वैल्यूज का एक प्रकार से गढ़ रहा है, किला रहा है। सूफीवाद जैसी परंपराएं यहां सदियों से पनपी और पूरे क्षेत्र और विश्व में फैली। इनकी छवि हम आज भी इस क्षेत्र की सांस्कृतिक विरासत में देख सकते हैं। मध्य एशिया की इस ऐतिहासिक धरोहर के आधार पर एससीओ को रेडिकलाइजेशन और एक्सट्रीमिज्म से लड़ने का एक साझा टेम्पलेट डेवलप करना चाहिए। भारत में और एससीओ के लगभग सभी देशों में इस्लाम से जुड़ी मॉडरेट, टॉलरेंट और इंक्लूसिव संस्थाएं और परंपराएं हैं। एससीओ को इनके बीच एक मजबूत नेटवर्क विकसित करने के लिए काम करना चाहिए। इस संदर्भ में मैं एससीओ के रैट्स मैकेनिज्म द्वारा किए जा रहे उपयोगी कार्य की प्रशंसा करता हूं। भारत ने एससीओ रैट्स की अपनी अध्यक्षता के दौरान जो कैलेंडर ऑफ एक्टिविटीज प्रस्तावित की है, उन पर हमें सभी एससीओ पार्टनर्स के सक्रिय सहयोग की अपेक्षा है। एक्सेलेंसी, रेडिकलाइजेशन से लड़ाई क्षेत्रीय सुरक्षा और आपसी ट्रस्ट के लिए तो आवश्यक है ही, यह हमारी युवा पीढ़ियों के उज्जवल भविष्य के लिए भी जरूरी है। विकसित विश्व के साथ प्रतिस्पर्धा के लिए हमारे क्षेत्र को उभरती टेक्नोलॉजी में स्टेक होल्डर बनना होगा। इसके लिए हमें अपने प्रतिभाशाली युवाओं को विज्ञान और रेशनल थिंकिंग की ओर प्रोत्साहित करना होगा। हम अपने एंटरप्रेन्योर्स और स्टार्टअप्स को एक दूसरे से जोड़कर इस तरह की सोच, इस तरह की इनोवेटिव स्पिरिट को बढ़ावा दे सकते हैं। इसी सोच से पिछले वर्ष भारत ने पहले एससीओ स्टार्टअप फोरम और युवा वैज्ञानिक सम्मेलन का आयोजन किया। पिछले वर्षों में भारत ने अपनी विकास यात्रा में टेक्नोलॉजी का सफल सहारा लिया है। चाहे फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन बढ़ाने के लिए यूपीआई और रुपे कार्ड जैसी टेक्नोलॉजीज हो, या कोविड से लड़ाई में हमारे आरोग्य सेतु और कोविन जैसे डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म्स, इन सभी को हमने स्वेच्छा से अन्य देशों के साथ भी साझा किया है। हमें एससीओ पार्टनर्स के साथ भी इन ओपन सोर्स टेक्नोलॉजी को शेयर करने में और इसके लिए कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग आयोजित करने में खुशी होगी। एक्सेलेंसी, रेडिकलाइजेशन और असुरक्षा के कारण इस क्षेत्र का विशाल आर्थिक पोटेंशियल भी अनटैप रह गया है। खनिज संपदा हो या इंट्रा SCO ट्रेड, इनका पूर्ण लाभ उठाने के लिए हमें आपसी कनेक्टिविटी पर जोर देना होगा। इतिहास में सेंट्रल एशिया की भूमिका प्रमुख क्षेत्रीय बाजारों के बीच एक कनेक्टिविटी ब्रिज की रही है। यही इस क्षेत्र की समृद्धि का भी आधार था। भारत सेंट्रल एशिया के साथ अपनी कनेक्टिविटी बढ़ाने के लिए प्रतिबद्ध है। हमारा मानना है कि लैंडलॉक्ड सेंट्रल एशियाई देशों को भारत के विशाल बाजार से जुड़कर अपार लाभ हो सकता है। दुर्भाग्यवश आज कनेक्टिविटी के कई विकल्प उनके लिए खुले नहीं हैं। ईरान के चाबाहर पोर्ट में हमारा निवेश और इंटरनेशनल नॉर्थ साउथ कॉरिडोर के प्रति हमारा प्रयास इसी वास्तविकता से प्रेरित है। एक्सेलेंसीज, कनेक्टिविटी की कोई भी पहल वन वे स्ट्रीट नहीं हो सकती। आपसी ट्रस्ट सुनिश्चित करने के लिए कनेक्टिविटी प्रोजेक्ट्स को कंसल्टेटिव, पारदर्शी और पार्टिसिपेटरी होना चाहिए। इनमें सभी देशों की टेरिटोरियल इंटीग्रिटी का सम्मान निहित होना चाहिए। इन सिद्धांतों के आधार पर SCO को क्षेत्र में कनेक्टिविटी प्रोजेक्ट्स के लिए उपयुक्त नॉर्म्स विकसित करने चाहिए। इसी से हम इस क्षेत्र की पारंपरिक कनेक्टिविटी को पुनः स्थापित कर पाएंगे और तभी कनेक्टिविटी प्रोजेक्ट्स हमें जोड़ने का काम करेगी, न कि हमारे बीच दूरी बढ़ाने का। इस प्रयत्न के लिए भारत अपनी तरफ से हर प्रकार का योगदान देने के लिए तैयार है। एक्सेलेंसीज, SCO की सफलता का एक मुख्य कारण यह है कि इसका मूल फोकस क्षेत्र की प्राथमिकताओं पर रहा है। रेडिकलाइजेशन, कनेक्टिविटी और पीपल टू पीपल संबंधों पर मेरे सुझाव SCO की इसी भूमिका को और सबल बनाएंगे। अपनी बात समाप्त करने से पहले मैं हमारे मेजबान राष्ट्रपति रहमान का एक बार फिर धन्यवाद करता हूं। उन्होंने इस हाइब्रिड फॉर्मेट की चुनौती के बावजूद इस सम्मेलन का बेहतरीन आयोजन और संचालन किया है। मैं आगामी अध्यक्ष उज्बेकिस्तान को भी शुभकामनाएं देता हूं और भारत के सहयोग का आश्वासन देता हूं। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Minister Narendra Modi there addressing the plenary session that of the SCO summit, remember, whose founding members include China, Russia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan and Uzbekistan, and Pakistan and China also making a presence. So, of course, different points made, but very clear, firm references to whether it is terrorism, radicalisation, territorial integrity of the countries, the border situation, all of that finding a mention by Prime Minister Narendra Modi and he addressed the SCO summit. Remember, this is in the backdrop of the External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar already having met his counterpart there of China, and that also leading to different discussions. Foreign Affairs Editor Geeta Mohan now joining me for the same. A very interesting address there by the Prime Minister, Geeta, specifically with regard to territorial integrity, radicalisation and some very crucial points. Over to you, the highlights of PM's address.
Well, Pooja very, very brilliantly put a speech when it comes to addressing the right forum on very important issues. while the focus was with regards to Afghanistan as well, and that will be part of the conversation. But the point that Prime Minister Narendra Modi made is very important, that radicalisation is the biggest concern when it comes to stability in the region, especially with the situation in Afghanistan. We do know that the Taliban as a government in Afghanistan is a matter of concern, not just because India has hardly engaged with the government, but because of the non-inclusivity that it is showing. And it continues to represent a very parochial, conservative and radical form of governance in Afghanistan, which is a concern. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi highlighting that RAP, that's the anti-terror cooperation under the SCO, is a forum where one has to discuss terrorism, concerns regarding terrorism, particularly emanating through and because of radicalization. That is an important point that he made. The other very important point that he touched upon is connectivity. And while Russia, China, India, all countries are interested in connectivity, especially via Central Asia, it cannot violate any country's sovereignty, clearly pointing out that BRI, the CPEC project, is a violation of India's territorial integrity, and that China, being a member of the SCO, should be looking into that aspect.
How do you see the presence of China at this point? Remember, this is all in the backdrop of China already supporting one of those few nations to have come forth openly, agreed to be recognizing the Taliban government in Afghanistan. And while Prime Minister did not make a direct mention to it, all of this, of course, must be getting watched globally as well, Geeta.
Well, China, Russia have now a lot of influence over Taliban, Pooja. But when it comes to recognizing the government, not even Pakistan has recognized the Taliban administration. So technically speaking, everybody is playing a wait-and-watch policy, and they're all waiting to see whether if Afghanistan will show inclusivity and a little movement away from its radical, or for that matter, extremely religious outlook. For China, stability in Afghanistan is very important if they want to invest and move towards connectivity, and therefore China is not going to recognize the Taliban administration till there is some semblance of sanity, normalcy, inclusivity and stability in Afghanistan.
Thank you so much, Geeta Mohan, India Today's Foreign Affairs Editor, with all the latest. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressing the SCO summit there as a full-fledged member state and referring to how to tackle radicalisation and extremism, and of course the focus on economy revival as well. Let's move on now to some other news as well. On the ground in Delhi, Shiromani Akali Dal is holding a Black Friday protest march to mark 1 year of the farm laws. They have planned a march from Gurdwara Rakabganj Sahib to the Parliament building. All of this is in the central Delhi area, an extremely high-profile zone with a lot of members of Parliament, politicians and bureaucrats who do reside in these areas. Delhi police has not granted them permission for this route to be carrying out the march. However, Akali Dal President Sukhbir Singh Badal and former Union Minister Harsimrat Kaur are leading the protest for now. Cops have blocked many routes. This is including the